Hi, I am Fiionel, and I make videos here on Twitch streams, and I also work in sensitivity reading. But you can also book me as a speaker. Today, I'm going to tell you about gender-affirming care. But what is that anyway? Gender-affirming care refers to all the things that affirm a person's gender, and we've all gone through major or minor affirmations. Smaller things like a new dress or shirt, a nice hairstyle, or shaved or particularly hairy legs are totally everyday things that confirm us in our own gender, for ourselves and also for the outside world. None of these things necessarily have this effect on you, but they can. Bigger things can be hormone replacement therapies, for example, which are often used during the menopause, or because our bodies don't produce enough hormones in adolescence, or beard epilation, because a person suffers from hirsutism. However, surgeries can also be gender-affirming, such as breast augmentations or reductions or hair transplants. These are all forms of gender affirmation procedures that are very commonplace and relevant for many people around the world. So there are also many contact points and appropriate care available. However, if people are inter and or not cis, for example agender, gender fluid, non-binary or trans, then even more far-reaching and quantitatively more measures are the rule. And these are roughly what this video is about. Keep in mind that this video is focusing on Germany and the German healthcare system. I am planning to do more videos also covering other countries in the future. Firstly, there are the social measures, changing names and pronouns, the customization of clothing, makeup, hairstyle or facial hair, which can be shaved or emphasized with makeup, for example, binding or pushing of the breast, tucking or packing in the genital area to disguise or emphasize a bump wear. In addition, and this is where all allies and those who want to become allies should prick up their ears. The environment can do a lot to make everyone feel affirmed in their gender, regardless of their gender identity. Ask what they need, and don't just do stuff you've heard on YouTube or Twitch. Treat them the same way you would treat another person of their gender. Invite them to a football match or a girls' night out, and make sure that this person's gender is never questioned in your presence. And most importantly, take care of these people, because trans, inter, non-binary, and agender people are much more likely to face discrimination, and you as allies can make a difference. Next, there are legal measures. For example, you can have your marital status and your name changed. This is currently possible with advanced registration, and then a 3-month waiting period via the Self-Determination Act at the registry office. There are 4 official gender entries in Germany: female, male, diverse, and no entry. So the entry is then really empty. Please note that you will then want to change all your documents. The gender entry will not appear on your ID card, but it will appear on your passport. Please note that this could lead to discrimination in certain countries with such a passport, especially in the case of diverse and no entry. It is best to check the website of the Federal Foreign Office, where you will not only find travel warnings, but also rough information on whether you can expect discrimination when traveling to a country. There's also the option of having a gender you were assigned at birth written on your passport. And about the first names, you don't have to have exactly the same number of first names as before. You can have more or fewer first names. It's up to you. Finally, I would like to talk about medical measures. Unfortunately, our voice is a decisive factor in our gender binary categorization. Voice therapy with speech therapists can be very helpful here, especially for people who have gone through testosterone-based puberty and have had voice breaking, but it can also be very helpful for everyone else. Speech therapy and extra vocal training can also be helpful, especially for people who are still planning to have voice breaking but are passionate about singing for example. This can also be very helpful during and after voice breaking in general. You can get a prescription for speech therapy from your GP, for example. Then there's hormone therapy. Especially for people without voice breaking, testosterone-based therapy naturally also helps the voice, but at the same time it does a lot more. There are changes in fat distribution, muscle mass, changes in skin structure, hair growth, libido, menstrual cycle, and emotions, and in the case of estrogen-based hormone therapy, breast growth. There are also more individualized hormone therapies, especially for non-binary or agender people. The European Society of Endocrinology recommends targeting hormone levels of cis people of the same age. For adolescents, puberty blockers are often used initially to prevent puberty that does not fit and to bridge any waiting periods. Hormone therapy is usually carried out by an endocrinological practice, sometimes also gynecological or urological practices, rarely general practitioners. For this, you usually need an indication issued by a psychologist or psychiatrist. Permanent hair removal methods are also very relevant for some people. Laser epilation, on the face in particular, is sometimes covered by health insurance companies, in the case of referrals or if you apply for it. In most cases, however, you will have to pay for this and other types of epilation yourself. Expect to pay a small four-figure sum for this. And then there are surgeries. Many surgeries, such as a mastectomy, i.e. the removal of the mammary glands, or breast augmentation, are covered by the health insurance company after application. As a rule, these also require a letter of indication. Surgeries in the genital area to adapt the genitals to the patient's own gender, or removal of testicles, uterus, or ovaries are also possible and are covered. Adam's apple reductions are also covered by health insurance. However, there are also surgeries that are not covered, but can be very helpful for some people. These include, for example, facial feminization surgery and voice surgery. Many of these measures are also or primarily used by cis people. And trans, inter, agender and non-binary people benefit greatly from them, because only for us would such care, especially in the medical field, perhaps not exist at all, or at least be much worse. However, it is important to note that if gender-affirming care is not covered by health insurance, it is often behind paywalls that are difficult or impossible to afford, depending on the measure, which is why they are seen as luxury goods, rather than basic medical care. This must change in the future, regardless of whether a person is cis or trans. Finally, one thing is very important to me. Every person is individual and needs individual measures. You are no less right because you only need a few or none of these measures to feel good. Please leave a comment and feel free to write video requests under the video. I would be very happy about a like and a subscription. Also check out Twitch and share the video with your friends. If you like to support me financially, you can do so at Ko-fi. This video only exists thanks to your support on Ko-fi. Many thanks to everyone who supports me there and on Twitch.